Hello and welcome to the Mindful Zone. Today we're embarking on a meaningful journey together, a journey of self-discovery, inner peace and empowerment. Over the next 2 hours, we'll explore how Buddhism, meditation and mindfulness can help you learn to be yourself without depending on anyone else. This is a space for reflection, growth and transformation, an invitation to reconnect with who you truly are beneath the noise of everyday life. Whether you're here because you are feeling overwhelmed, seeking clarity, or simply curious about these ancient practices, know that this video was created with warmth, accessibility, and relaxation in mind. You don't need any prior experience with Buddhism, meditation, or mindfulness to benefit from what we'll discuss today. All you need is an open heart and a willingness to pause and listen to yourself. So often we go through life relying on external validation to feel whole. We look to others for approval, compare ourselves to societal standards, or seek happiness in material possessions. But have you ever noticed how fleeting those sources of fulfillment can be? When they inevitably shift or disappear, as all things do, we're left feeling empty, searching again for something outside ourselves to fill the void. What if I told you there's another way? A way to cultivate a sense of completeness that doesn't depend on anyone or anything else. That's exactly what we'll uncover today. Through the wisdom of Buddhism, the practice of meditation, and the art of mindfulness, you'll discover tools to nurture your inner world, reduce stress, and live with greater authenticity. Buddhism teaches us that true freedom comes from within, not from clinging to people, outcomes, or possessions. It invites us to embrace impermanence, let go of attachments, and find balance amidst life's constant changes. Meditation gives us a direct path to connect with our deepest selves, quieting the mind and opening the door to insight. And mindfulness grounds us in the present moment, helping us break free from automatic patterns and live more intentionally. Together, these practices form a powerful foundation for living a life rooted in peace, purpose, and self-awareness. They're not quick fixes, they're lifelong companions. But even small steps in this direction can create profound shifts over time. Before we dive into the chapters, take a moment to settle into this experience. Find a comfortable place to sit or lie down. Let go of whatever you were doing before you pressed play. Allow yourself to fully arrive here in this moment. Take a deep breath in and out. Feel the weight of your body supported by the surface beneath you. Notice the rhythm of your breath, the sounds around you and the sensations in your body. This is your time, a sacred pause in the busyness of life. There's no rush, no pressure. Just you, me, and the unfolding wisdom of these teachings. So relax, breathe, and trust that everything shared here is offered with care and intention. Let's begin. Chapter 1. What does it mean to be yourself? To truly be yourself means living authentically, free from external expectations, fears, and dependencies. It's about stepping into your own light, embracing your unique qualities, and honoring your truth. But as simple as that may sound, many of us struggle to achieve it. Why? Because somewhere along the way we've become disconnected from who we really are. Think about it. How much of your day-to-day life is shaped by what other people think? How often do you find yourself adjusting your words, actions, or decisions to fit someone else's idea of who you should be? Maybe it's at work, where you feel pressured to meet unrealistic standards. Or maybe it's in relationships, where you suppress parts of yourself to avoid conflict or rejection. Over time, this kind of behavior chips away at your authenticity, leaving you feeling fragmented and unsure of who you truly are. The good news is, this isn't permanent. Rediscovering your authentic self starts with understanding why dependency on others or on external validation holds us back. In Buddhism, this concept is explored through the lens of attachment. Attachment doesn't just refer to physical objects, it also includes our emotional ties to ideas, roles, and identities. For example, you might be attached to being seen as successful, loved, or admired. While these desires aren't inherently bad, they become problematic when they dictate your sense of worth. When your happiness depends on meeting certain conditions, you give away your power. Imagine waking up every morning and knowing that your value isn't contingent on anything outside yourself, that regardless of whether people approve of you, applaud you, or even notice you, you're enough. This is the essence of learning to be yourself without depending on anyone. It's a radical act of self-love and liberation. But how do we get there? One of the first steps is recognizing the stories we tell ourselves, the narratives that keep us stuck in cycles of comparison, self-doubt, and fear. These stories often stem from childhood experiences, cultural conditioning, or past traumas. They whisper things like, "You're not smart enough," "You'll never succeed," or "No one will love you unless you change." The problem isn't that these thoughts exist, it's that we believe them. Mindfulness helps us untangle ourselves from these limiting beliefs. By observing our thoughts without judgment, we begin to see them for what they are, just thoughts, not facts, not truths, but fleeting mental events that come and go. With practice, we learn to challenge the stories that no longer serve us and replace them with ones that reflect our highest potential. Another key aspect of being yourself is cultivating self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to tune into your thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations in real time. It allows you to understand what triggers you, what brings you joy, and what drains your energy. Without self-awareness, it's easy to drift through life on autopilot, reacting to situations rather than responding consciously. Here's a practical exercise to deepen your self-awareness. Throughout the day, pause periodically and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Don't judge your answer, just notice it. Are you tense, relaxed, anxious, content? The more you check in with yourself, the better you'll understand your needs and boundaries. Boundaries, by the way, are crucial for maintaining your independence. Setting healthy boundaries means saying yes to what aligns with your values and no to what doesn't. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to prioritizing others' needs over your own. But remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for preserving your well-being. Living authentically also requires courage. Courage to stand firm in your convictions even when others disagree. Courage to express your feelings even when it feels vulnerable. And courage to pursue your dreams even when the path isn't clear. This courage doesn't come naturally. It's cultivated over time through small acts of bravery. Each time you choose honesty over comfort, you strengthen your ability to be yourself. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is the idea of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing, including you. Your thoughts, emotions, and circumstances are all transient. When you embrace this truth, you realize that clinging to any fixed identity only causes suffering. Instead, you can allow yourself to evolve, grow, and adapt without fear of losing who you are. This fluidity is liberating. It gives you permission to experiment, explore, and redefine yourself as needed. You're not bound by labels or expectations. You're free to create your own meaning. Another important piece of the puzzle is self-compassion. Being yourself doesn't mean striving for perfection. It means accepting your flaws, mistakes, and imperfections with kindness and understanding. Too often we're our own harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and beat ourselves up when we fall short. But true authenticity comes from embracing your humanity, not hiding it. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same care and empathy you'd offer a close friend. When you make a mistake, instead of berating yourself, try saying, "I'm human, I'm doing the best I can." When you're struggling, remind yourself that pain is part of the shared human experience. And when you succeed, celebrate it, not because it proves your worth, but because it's something you worked hard for. In addition to self-compassion, cultivating gratitude plays a significant role in helping you stay grounded in your authentic self. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. It reminds you of the beauty, love, and goodness that already exist within and around you. When you practice gratitude regularly, you begin to see yourself and your circumstances through a lens of appreciation rather than scarcity. Gratitude also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. But when you approach these difficulties with a grateful heart, you tap into an inner strength that helps you weather the storm. You start to recognize that even in the darkest moments, there's always something to be thankful for. A lesson learned, a silver lining, or simply the fact that you're still here, breathing and alive. Being yourself also means aligning your actions with your values. Values are the guiding principles that shape how you want to live your life. They might include things like integrity, creativity, compassion, or adventure. When your choices reflect your values, you feel a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose. On the other hand, when your actions contradict your values, you experience internal conflict and dissatisfaction. To identify your core values, take some time to reflect on what matters most to you. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? How do I want to treat others? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Once you have clarity on your values, use them as a compass to navigate life's decisions. Finally, being yourself is about trusting your intuition. Intuition is that quiet voice inside you that knows what's right for you, even when logic or external advice suggests otherwise. It's the gut feeling that tells you which path to take, which relationship to nurture, or which opportunity to seize. Unfortunately, many of us have been conditioned to ignore our intuition in favor of rational thinking or societal norms. Reconnecting with your intuition takes practice. Start by tuning into your body. Notice how different choices make you feel physically. Do they energize you or drain you? Do they bring a sense of peace or unease? Over time, you'll develop a deeper trust in your inner wisdom and rely less on external validation. In summary, being yourself is a multifaceted journey. It involves letting go of attachments, challenging limiting beliefs, cultivating self-awareness, setting boundaries, practicing self-compassion, embracing impermanence, expressing gratitude, aligning with your values, and trusting your intuition. None of this happens overnight. It's a lifelong process of growth and discovery. But each step you take brings you closer to living authentically and freely. As you continue watching, keep this foundational understanding in mind. Everything we'll discuss, from meditation techniques to Buddhist philosophy to mindfulness practices, is designed to support you on this path. Remember, you already possess everything you need to thrive. Trust yourself, honor your journey, and know that you are enough. Chapter 2. The role of mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness is one of the most transformative practices you can incorporate into your daily life. At its core, mindfulness is simply about being present, fully engaged with whatever you're doing moment by moment. It's not an esoteric concept reserved for monks or spiritual seekers. It's a practical tool that anyone can use to enhance their well-being and live more intentionally. In this chapter, we'll explore what mindfulness truly means, why it matters, and how you can weave it into the fabric of your everyday existence. Let's start by defining mindfulness. Mindfulness is the act of paying deliberate attention to the present moment without judgment. It means noticing your thoughts, emotions, bodily sensations, and surroundings with curiosity and openness. When you're mindful, you're not lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. You're anchored in the here and now. This might sound simple, but in a world filled with distractions, staying present requires conscious effort. Consider this. How often do you go through your day on autopilot? You eat breakfast while scrolling through your phone, drive to work lost in thought, or multitask during conversations without fully listening. These habits pull you out of the present moment, leaving you disconnected from your experiences and, ultimately, from yourself. Mindfulness invites you to slow down, tune in, and savor the richness of life as it unfolds. One of the most powerful aspects of mindfulness is its ability to reduce stress. Stress often arises when we dwell on things outside our control, worries about tomorrow, ruminations about yesterday, or anxieties about hypothetical scenarios. By bringing your focus back to the present, mindfulness interrupts these cycles of overthinking and calms the nervous system. Studies have shown that regular mindfulness practice lowers cortisol levels, improves sleep quality, and boosts overall mental health. But mindfulness isn't just a stress relief technique, it's a way of relating to life itself. When you approach each moment with awareness, you begin to notice details you might otherwise overlook. A blade of grass glistening with dew, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the subtle flavors in a bite of food. These small wonders add depth and texture to your experience, making life feel richer and more meaningful. So how do you practice mindfulness in daily life? The beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't require any special equipment or hours of meditation. You can practice it anywhere, anytime, using ordinary activities as opportunities to cultivate presence. Let's look at some examples. Take eating, for instance. Instead of rushing through meals or mindlessly snacking in front of the TV, try practicing mindful eating. Before you take your first bite, pause and appreciate the colors, textures, and aromas of your food. As you eat, chew slowly and pay attention to the taste and sensation in your mouth. Notice how your body feels as you nourish it. This simple shift not only enhances your enjoyment of food, but also helps prevent overeating and promotes better digestion. Another opportunity for mindfulness is movement. Whether you're walking, stretching, or doing household chores, you can bring awareness to your body and breath. For example, when you walk, feel the contact of your feet with the ground. Notice the rhythm of your steps and the sway of your arms. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring your attention back to the sensation of walking. This transforms an ordinary activity into a grounding practice that anchors you in the present. Even routine tasks like washing dishes or folding laundry can become acts of mindfulness if approached with intention. Instead of viewing them as chores to rush through, see them as chances to connect with the moment. Feel the temperature of the water, the texture of the fabric, or the motion of your hands. By infusing these moments with awareness, you turn mundane activities into moments of peace and clarity. Of course, mindfulness isn't always easy. Our minds are wired to wander, to jump from one thought to the next, chasing after plans, memories, or fantasies. This tendency is natural, but it keeps us trapped in a state of perpetual distraction. The key is not to fight your wandering mind, but to gently guide it back to the present whenever you notice it stray. Think of it like training a puppy. Every time it runs off, you patiently call it back. Over time, the puppy learns to stay closer to home, and so does your mind. To deepen your mindfulness practice, consider incorporating formal exercises into your routine. One classic technique is mindful breathing. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils, the rise and fall of your chest, or the gentle expansion of your belly. Whenever your mind drifts, acknowledge the thought without judgment and return your focus to your breath. Even 5 minutes of this practice can help center your mind and calm your nerves. Another powerful exercise is the body scan. Lie down or sit in a relaxed position and systematically bring your attention to different parts of your body, starting from your toes and working your way up to the top of your head. Notice any areas of tension, discomfort, or relaxation without trying to change anything. Simply observe and allow your awareness to flow through your body. This practice not only cultivates mindfulness, but also fosters a deeper connection between your mind and body. As you develop your mindfulness skills, you'll likely notice changes in how you relate to others. When you're fully present in conversations, people feel heard and valued. You listen more deeply, respond more thoughtfully, and communicate with greater empathy. This strengthens your relationships and creates a sense of mutual understanding and trust. Mindfulness also enhances emotional regulation. By observing your thoughts and feelings without reacting impulsively, you create space between stimulus and response. This pause allows you to choose how you want to act, rather than being driven by automatic patterns. For example, if someone says something hurtful, instead of lashing out in anger, you can take a moment to breathe and decide whether a response is necessary or productive. In addition to improving interpersonal dynamics, mindfulness fosters self-awareness. It helps you recognize habitual patterns of thinking and behaving that may no longer serve you. Perhaps you notice that you tend to catastrophize minor setbacks or cling to perfectionistic standards. Once you identify these tendencies, you can begin to challenge them and replace them with healthier alternatives. One common misconception about mindfulness is that it's about achieving a particular state, like bliss, calm, or enlightenment. While mindfulness can lead to these experiences, its true purpose is to help you meet life exactly as it is, moment by moment. Sometimes that means sitting with discomfort, sadness, or frustration. Rather than avoiding difficult emotions, mindfulness teaches you to acknowledge them with compassion and let them pass naturally. This builds resilience and equips you to face life's challenges with grace and courage. Another important aspect of mindfulness is its role in breaking free from societal conditioning. From a young age, we're taught to strive for success, accumulate possessions, and seek validation from others. These external pursuits often leave us feeling empty because they don't address our deeper needs for connection, meaning, and authenticity. Mindfulness encourages us to question these narratives and reconnect with what truly matters to us. For example, imagine you're scrolling through social media and comparing your life to the curated highlight reels of others. Without mindfulness, this habit can trigger feelings of inadequacy and fuel the desire to chase after superficial goals. But with mindfulness, you can step back and ask yourself, does this comparison serve me? Am I happy with my own journey, independent of external benchmarks? This perspective shift empowers you to focus on your unique path rather than measuring yourself against arbitrary standards. Beyond individual benefits, mindfulness has ripple effects that extend to society as a whole. When more people practice mindfulness, communities become kinder, more compassionate, and more interconnected. We start to see beyond divisions and appreciate our shared humanity. This collective awakening holds tremendous potential for addressing global issues like inequality, environmental degradation, and conflict. To integrate mindfulness into your daily life, consistency is key. Start small, just a few minutes a day, and gradually increase the duration as you build the habit. Incorporate reminders throughout your day, such as setting alarms or placing sticky notes in visible places to prompt you to pause and check in with yourself. Over time, mindfulness will become second nature, seamlessly woven into the rhythm of your life. Finally, remember that mindfulness is a lifelong practice. There's no end point or final achievement. It's an ongoing process of discovery and growth. Some days you'll feel deeply connected and centered. Other days your mind will feel scattered and restless. Both states are part of the journey. What matters most is showing up again and again with patience and kindness toward yourself. In summary, mindfulness is a powerful tool for living with greater presence, purpose, and peace. It helps you navigate stress, deepen your relationships, regulate your emotions, and reconnect with your authentic self. By practicing mindfulness in everyday activities and formal exercises, you cultivate a mindset that supports your well-being and enriches your experience of life. As we move forward, keep this foundation in mind. Everything we'll discuss, from meditation techniques to Buddhist philosophy to mindfulness practices, is designed to support you on this path. Remember, the present moment is all you ever truly have. Embrace it fully and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Chapter 3: Meditation as a Path to Inner Peace. Meditation is one of the most profound tools for cultivating inner peace, clarity, and self-awareness. While it may seem mysterious or intimidating at first glance, meditation is actually quite simple, a practice of turning inward and observing your mind and body with curiosity and compassion. In this chapter, we'll explore what meditation truly is, why it's so transformative, and how you can make it an integral part of your life. Whether you're new to meditation or looking to deepen your practice, this exploration will provide you with insights and practical guidance to help you along the way. Let's begin by demystifying meditation. At its essence, meditation is the intentional act of focusing your attention on a specific object, such as your breath, a mantra, or bodily sensations, and gently bringing your awareness back whenever it wanders. It's not about stopping your thoughts or achieving some mystical state. Rather, it's about creating space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to observe them without getting swept away. This process builds mental discipline, emotional resilience, and a deeper connection to your true self. One of the most common misconceptions about meditation is that it requires hours of sitting in silence or mastering complex techniques. In reality, even just a few minutes of focused attention each day can yield significant benefits. Research has shown that regular meditation reduces stress, improves concentration, enhances creativity, and promotes overall well-being. Over time, these effects accumulate, leading to lasting changes in how you perceive and interact with the world. But why does meditation work? To understand its power, we need to look at how our minds typically operate. Most of us live in a constant state of distraction, jumping from task to task, thought to thought, without ever fully resting. Our brains are wired to scan for threats and opportunities, which served our ancestors well in survival situations, but often leaves us feeling overwhelmed in modern life. Meditation acts as a reset button, giving your mind a chance to rest and recharge. Through meditation, you train your mind to become more stable and less reactive. Instead of being pulled into every passing thought or emotion, you learn to observe them from a place of detachment. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or suppressing your thoughts. It means acknowledging them without judgment and letting them pass like clouds drifting across the sky. Over time, this practice helps you develop equanimity, a calm and balanced state of mind that allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. There are many forms of meditation, each with its own focus and benefits. One of the simplest and most accessible practices is mindfulness meditation. As we discussed in the previous chapter, mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When applied to meditation, this means focusing on your breath or another anchor point and returning your attention to it whenever your mind wanders. This repetitive cycle of noticing distractions and refocusing strengthens your ability to concentrate and stay grounded. Another popular form of meditation is loving-kindness meditation, also known as metta in Buddhist tradition. This practice involves cultivating feelings of love, compassion, and goodwill toward yourself and others. You might start by silently repeating phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be at peace," and then extend these wishes to loved ones, acquaintances, and even people you find challenging. Loving-kindness meditation not only fosters empathy and connection, but also counteracts feelings of anger, resentment, and isolation. For those seeking spiritual growth, transcendental meditation offers a pathway to deeper states of consciousness. This technique involves repeating a personalized mantra, a word or sound chosen specifically for you, to quiet the mind and access subtler levels of awareness. While transcendental meditation requires instruction from a certified teacher, its simplicity makes it easy to incorporate into daily life once learned. Body-centered practices like yoga nidra or progressive muscle relaxation combine meditation with physical awareness. These methods guide you through systematically relaxing different parts of your body while maintaining mental focus. They're particularly effective for reducing tension, improving sleep, and enhancing body-mind integration. Regardless of the style you choose, the key to successful meditation lies in consistency. Like any skill, meditation improves with practice. Start with short sessions, 5 to 10 minutes, and gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed, sit in a comfortable position, either cross-legged on the floor or in a chair with your feet flat on the ground, and set a timer if needed. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and begin. If you're struggling to settle into meditation, remember that it's perfectly normal for your mind to wander. In fact, noticing when your attention drifts is part of the practice. Each time you bring your focus back to your breath or anchor point, you're strengthening your mental muscles. Think of it like going to the gym for your brain. The repetitions matter more than perfection. As you meditate regularly, you'll likely notice shifts in your mindset and behavior. For example, you might find yourself reacting less impulsively to stressful situations or feeling more patient and compassionate toward others. These changes occur because meditation rewires your brain, promoting neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself. Studies have shown that long-term meditators experience increased gray matter in areas associated with memory, learning, and emotional regulation, as well as decreased activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear and anxiety. Meditation also supports emotional healing. Many of us carry unresolved pain, trauma, or grief buried deep within us. Through meditation, you create a safe container to process these emotions without judgment or resistance. By sitting with discomfort instead of avoiding it, you allow it to surface, transform, and eventually release. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to confront painful memories head-on. Rather, it means holding space for whatever arises with kindness and acceptance. Beyond personal transformation, meditation has profound implications for society. When individuals cultivate inner peace, they radiate that energy outward, influencing their relationships, communities, and the world at large. Imagine a world where more people practiced meditation, not just for themselves, but for the collective good. The ripple effects could lead to greater understanding, cooperation, and harmony on a global scale. To integrate meditation into your daily routine, consider pairing it with existing habits. For instance, meditate right after waking up to set a positive tone for the day, or before bed to wind down and prepare for restful sleep. You can also use transitional moments, such as waiting in line or commuting, as opportunities for mini meditations. Simply bring your attention to your breath or surroundings and let go of unnecessary distractions. If you're worried about finding time for meditation, remember that quality matters more than quantity. Even a single mindful breath can shift your perspective and bring you back to the present moment. The goal isn't to meditate for hours, but to create pockets of stillness throughout your day that replenish your energy and restore your balance. It's also important to approach meditation with realistic expectations. Some days you'll feel deeply relaxed and centered. Other days, your mind will feel restless or agitated. Both experiences are valid and valuable. They're simply different facets of the human condition. What matters most is showing up consistently and treating yourself with patience and compassion. Finally, meditation isn't meant to be a solitary pursuit. While it's inherently an individual practice, sharing your journey with others can amplify its impact. Joining a meditation group, attending retreats, or discussing your experiences with friends can provide encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. Community support reminds us that we're not alone on this path and reinforces the universal nature of the human experience. In summary, meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating inner peace, clarity, and resilience. It helps you quiet the noise of everyday life, connect with your true self, and respond to challenges with wisdom and grace. By incorporating meditation into your daily routine, whether through mindfulness, loving kindness, or other practices, you open the door to profound personal growth and transformation. As we continue exploring Buddhism, mindfulness, and meditation, keep this foundation in mind. Everything we'll discuss, from non-attachment to gratitude to navigating challenges, is rooted in the principles of presence and awareness that meditation cultivates. Remember, the journey inward is infinite, and every step brings you closer to the peace and fulfillment you seek. Chapter 4. Understanding non-attachment in Buddhism. Non-attachment is one of the most profound and transformative teachings in Buddhism, yet it's often misunderstood. Many people hear the term non-attachment and assume it means indifference or emotional detachment, cutting yourself off from relationships, possessions, or passions. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Non-attachment isn't about rejecting life's joys or withdrawing from the world. Instead, it's about engaging with life fully while maintaining a sense of freedom and perspective. In this chapter, we'll delve deeply into what non-attachment truly means, why it matters, and how you can apply it to your daily life. At its core, non-attachment is the practice of letting go, not of things themselves, but of our clinging to them. It's recognizing that everything in life is impermanent, and that trying to hold on to anything too tightly only leads to suffering. This doesn't mean you stop caring about people, projects, or experiences. It means you learn to appreciate them without demanding they remain exactly as they are. By loosening your grip on outcomes and expectations, you create space for peace, joy, and authenticity to flourish. To understand non-attachment, let's first examine its opposite, attachment. Attachment arises when we become overly invested in specific outcomes, identities, or circumstances. For example, you might feel attached to being seen as successful, loved, or admired. You might cling to material possessions, fearing their loss will diminish your worth. Or you might obsess over controlling every detail of your life, believing that doing so will guarantee happiness. While these desires may seem natural, they ultimately trap us in cycles of craving and aversion. When things go our way, we experience fleeting satisfaction. When they don't, we suffer disappointment, frustration, or despair. Buddhism teaches that attachment is one of the root causes of suffering, or dukkha. The Buddha explained that life is inherently unpredictable, and resisting this reality creates unnecessary pain. Imagine holding sand in your hand. If you squeeze it tightly, the grains slip through your fingers. But if you relax your grip, the sand stays longer. Similarly, when we try to control or cling to life's ever-changing nature, we lose what we're trying to hold on to. Non-attachment invites us to open our hands, to embrace life's flow, rather than fighting against it. So how do we cultivate non-attachment? One of the first steps is understanding impermanence. Everything in existence is transient. Relationships, careers, health, even our own lives. Nothing lasts forever, and this truth is both humbling and liberating. When you internalize the concept of impermanence, you begin to see attachments for what they are, attempts to freeze moments that were never meant to stay still. Instead of clinging to permanence, you learn to cherish the present moment exactly as it is. For example, consider a meaningful relationship. If you're overly attached to someone, whether romantically, platonically, or professionally, you might fear losing them or demand constant reassurance of their affection. This kind of dependence stifles both parties, creating pressure and resentment. Non-attachment, on the other hand, allows you to love deeply and wholeheartedly without expecting the other person to fulfill all your needs or behave in a certain way. You appreciate them for who they are right now, knowing that change is inevitable. Another area where non-attachment proves invaluable is in dealing with material possessions. Consumer culture conditions us to equate happiness with acquiring more stuff, a bigger house, a fancier car, the latest gadget. Yet no matter how much we accumulate, the satisfaction fades quickly, leaving us craving the next big thing. Non-attachment helps us break free from this endless cycle by shifting our focus from owning to experiencing. Instead of valuing objects for their status or utility, we savor the moments they facilitate, the laughter shared around a dinner table, the awe inspired by a breathtaking view, the warmth of a cozy blanket on a cold night. Non-attachment also applies to our self-image. So much of our identity is tied to external markers like job titles, social roles, or physical appearance. We define ourselves as successful or attractive based on arbitrary standards, then base our worth on meeting those criteria. But what happens when circumstances change? If you lose your job, does that make you any less valuable? If you age or gain weight, does that diminish your essence? Non-attachment reminds us that who we are transcends these labels. Beneath the roles we play and the stories we tell lies a deeper, unchanging self, one that remains untouched by life's fluctuations. Practicing non-attachment requires courage. Letting go of attachments, whether to outcomes, identities, or possessions, can feel terrifying at first. After all, attachments provide a false sense of security. They give us something to hold on to when life feels uncertain. But true freedom comes from surrendering this illusion of control. It comes from trusting that you have everything you need within you, regardless of external conditions. One practical way to cultivate non-attachment is through mindfulness. Mindfulness trains you to observe your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. For instance, when you notice yourself clinging to an idea or outcome, pause and ask yourself, why am I holding on to this so tightly? What am I afraid of losing? Often, beneath the surface lies a fear of inadequacy, rejection, or uncertainty. By shining light on these fears, you begin to loosen their grip. Another powerful technique is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, helping you release the need to hoard or control. When you're grateful for what you already have, you stop chasing after what you lack. You realize that fulfillment isn't found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what's already present. Non-attachment also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges, losses, failures, disappointments that test our ability to adapt and grow. When you're attached to a particular outcome, setbacks can feel devastating. But when you approach life with openness and flexibility, you bounce back more easily. For example, if you pour your heart into a project and it doesn't succeed, non-attachment allows you to grieve the loss without letting it define you. You acknowledge the effort you put in, learn from the experience, and move forward with renewed clarity and purpose. In addition to personal benefits, non-attachment has profound implications for society. Our world is rife with conflict, inequality, and environmental destruction, all stemming from excessive attachment to power, wealth, and resources. When individuals practice non-attachment, they contribute to a culture of generosity, compassion, and sustainability. They recognize that true prosperity isn't measured by accumulation, but by connection. Of course, practicing non-attachment doesn't mean abandoning ambition or responsibility. You can still pursue goals, nurture relationships, and enjoy life's pleasures without becoming enslaved to them. The key is to engage with these pursuits lightly, without attaching your happiness or identity to their outcomes. Success becomes a bonus, not a requirement. Love becomes a gift, not a demand. Joy becomes a choice, not a condition. As you deepen your understanding of non-attachment, you'll likely encounter resistance from yourself and others. Society rewards attachment, encouraging us to strive, compete, and consume. Friends and family might misunderstand your shift toward non-attachment, interpreting it as apathy or withdrawal. Stay grounded in your intentions, reminding yourself that non-attachment isn't about rejecting life, but embracing it more fully. To integrate non-attachment into your daily life, start small. Notice areas where you tend to cling, whether to routines, beliefs, or expectations, and experiment with letting go. For example, if you're attached to a rigid schedule, allow room for spontaneity. If you're fixated on perfection, practice celebrating imperfection. Each act of release strengthens your capacity for freedom and ease. Remember, non-attachment is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be times when old patterns resurface, pulling you back into attachment. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters is your willingness to keep showing up, observing, and releasing. Over time, non-attachment becomes second nature, transforming how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. In summary, non-attachment is a cornerstone of Buddhist wisdom and a powerful tool for living with greater peace, clarity, and authenticity. It teaches us to embrace life's impermanence, cherish the present moment, and release the need for control. By cultivating non-attachment, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Non-attachment underpins everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to meditation techniques to embracing impermanence. Remember, true happiness comes not from possessing more but from needing less. Trust in the flow of life and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 5. Embracing Impermanence. Impermanence is one of life's most fundamental truths, yet it's also one of the hardest to accept. Everything changes: relationships, careers, health, emotions, seasons, even our own bodies and minds. Nothing stays the same forever. While this reality can feel unsettling, embracing impermanence is a gateway to profound peace, resilience, and freedom. In this chapter, we'll explore what impermanence truly means, why it matters, and how you can integrate its wisdom into your daily life. At its heart, impermanence refers to the ever-changing nature of existence. It's the recognition that nothing in life is static or permanent, not joy, not sorrow, not success, not failure. This truth is central to Buddhist teachings, where impermanence, anicca in Pali, is considered one of the three marks of existence, alongside suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta together. These principles form the foundation of Buddhist philosophy, guiding us toward liberation from unnecessary pain. Why does impermanence matter? Because resisting change creates suffering. When we cling to people, possessions, or circumstances, hoping they'll last forever, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Life doesn't operate on our terms, it flows according to its own rhythm. By accepting impermanence, we align ourselves with this natural flow, reducing resistance and opening ourselves to greater ease and contentment. Consider moments of happiness or achievement in your life. Perhaps you landed your dream job, fell in love, or achieved a personal goal. These experiences likely brought immense joy, but did that joy last indefinitely? Probably not. Over time, excitement faded, challenges arose, or new priorities emerged. The same is true of difficult times. Heartbreak, loss, or failure may have felt unbearable at first, but eventually the intensity softened and healing began. Both pleasant and unpleasant experiences are temporary, passing like clouds across the sky. This ebb and flow is life's way of teaching us balance. Without impermanence, there would be no growth, no evolution, no possibility for renewal. If everything remained constant, life would stagnate. Change, even painful change, is what allows transformation to occur. Spring follows winter, dawn follows night, and hope follows despair. Impermanence reminds us that no matter how dark things seem, they won't last forever. And conversely, when things are going well, we're reminded to savor the moment because it too will pass. So how do we embrace impermanence? One of the first steps is acknowledging it intellectually. Reflect on the transient nature of your own experiences. Think about relationships that have come and gone, jobs that started with excitement but ended with closure, or phases of life that once defined you but now feel distant. Recognizing these patterns helps you see impermanence not as an abstract concept, but as a lived reality. Next, bring awareness to impermanence in your day-to-day life. Notice the subtle shifts happening all around you, the changing colors of leaves, the movement of shadows throughout the day, the rise and fall of your breath. These small reminders reinforce the truth that everything is in motion, including yourself. Over time, this awareness cultivates a sense of wonder and gratitude for the fleeting beauty of each moment. Another powerful practice is contemplating impermanence during challenging times. When faced with loss, uncertainty, or hardship, remind yourself that this too shall pass. While it may not immediately ease the pain, this perspective provides comfort and hope. It reassures you that even the most difficult chapters in your story are temporary and that brighter days lie ahead. Impermanence also invites us to live more fully in the present. When we understand that tomorrow isn't guaranteed, we're less likely to postpone dreams, delay meaningful conversations, or take loved ones for granted. Instead, we prioritize what truly matters, investing our energy in experiences and connections that enrich our lives. For example, imagine spending time with a close friend or family member. Knowing that their presence in your life is impermanent encourages you to cherish every interaction. You listen more deeply, express appreciation more freely, and create memories that will sustain you when they're no longer physically present. Similarly, recognizing the fragility of your own life inspires you to pursue passions, nurture relationships, and contribute positively to the world. Embracing impermanence also transforms how we relate to material possessions. Consumer culture teaches us to accumulate more clothes, gadgets, cars, homes, as if amassing stuff will somehow insulate us from life's uncertainties. But impermanence reminds us that none of these things are permanent. Possessions break, wear out, or lose their novelty over time. Even treasured heirlooms eventually end up in someone else's hands. By focusing less on acquiring and more appreciating, we reduce attachment and find joy in simplicity. This principle extends to our self-image as well. So much of our identity is tied to external markers, our job title, appearance, achievements, or social status. Yet all of these aspects are subject to change. Careers evolve, bodies age, accolades fade. Non-attachment to these identities frees us to connect with a deeper, unchanging essence within, an authentic self that remains untouched by life's fluctuations. Practicing impermanence requires courage. Letting go of the illusion of permanence can feel disorienting at first. After all, permanence offers a false sense of security. It gives us something to hold on to when life feels unpredictable. But true strength comes from embracing uncertainty, not fighting it. It comes from trusting that you have everything you need within you, regardless of external conditions. One practical way to cultivate impermanence is through mindfulness. Mindfulness trains you to observe the present moment without clinging to it. For instance, when you notice yourself resisting change or holding on to a particular outcome, so pause and ask yourself, why am I so attached to this? What am I afraid of losing? Often beneath the surface lies a fear of inadequacy, rejection, or the unknown. By shining light on these fears, you begin to loosen their grip. Another powerful technique is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundant, helping you release the need to hoard or control. When you're grateful for what you already have, you stop chasing after what you lack. You realize that fulfillment isn't found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what's already present. Impermanence also fosters resilience. Life is full of challenges, losses, failures, disappointments that test our ability to adapt and grow. When you embrace impermanence, you approach these difficulties with greater equanimity. You recognize that setbacks are temporary and that growth often emerges from adversity. For example, if you pour your heart into a project and it doesn't succeed, impermanence allows you to grieve the loss without letting it define you. You acknowledge the effort you put in, learn from the experience, and move forward with renewed clarity and purpose. In addition to personal benefits, embracing impermanence has profound implications for society. Our world is rife with conflict, inequality, and environmental destruction, all stemming from excessive attachment to power, wealth, and resources. When individuals practice impermanence, they contribute to a culture of generosity, compassion, and sustainability. They recognize that true prosperity isn't measured by accumulation, but by connection. Of course, practicing impermanence doesn't mean abandoning ambition or responsibility. You can still pursue goals, nurture relationships, and enjoy life's pleasures without becoming enslaved to them. The key is to engage with these pursuits lightly, without attaching your happiness or identity to their outcomes. Success becomes a bonus, not a requirement. Love becomes a gift, not a demand. Joy becomes a choice, not a condition. As you deepen your understanding of impermanence, you'll likely encounter resistance from yourself and others. Society rewards attachment, encouraging us to strive, compete, and consume. Friends and family might misunderstand your shift toward impermanence, interpreting it as apathy or withdrawal. Stay grounded in your intentions, reminding yourself that impermanence isn't about rejecting life, but embracing it more fully. To integrate impermanence into your daily life, start small. Notice areas where you tend to cling, whether to routines, beliefs, or expectations, and experiment with letting go. For example, if you're attached to a rigid schedule, allow room for spontaneity. If you're fixated on perfection, practice celebrating imperfection. Each act of release strengthens your capacity for freedom and ease. Remember, impermanence is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be times when old patterns resurface, pulling you back into attachment. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters is your willingness to keep showing up, observing, and releasing. Over time, impermanence becomes second nature, transforming how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. In summary, impermanence is a cornerstone of Buddhist wisdom and a powerful tool for living with greater peace, clarity, and authenticity. It teaches us to embrace life's fluidity, cherish the present moment, and release the need for control. By cultivating impermanence, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Impermanence underpins everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to meditation techniques to non-attachment. Remember, true happiness comes not from possessing more, but from needing less. Trust in the flow of life and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 6. Compassion and Self-Love. Compassion and self-love are two of the most transformative forces we can cultivate in our lives. They form the foundation of emotional well-being, healthy relationships, and a fulfilling existence. Yet despite their importance, many of us struggle to embrace these qualities fully. In this chapter, we'll explore what compassion and self-love truly mean, why they matter, and how you can nurture them within yourself and extend them to others. Let's begin with compassion. Compassion is the ability to recognize suffering, whether in ourselves or others, and respond with kindness, empathy, and a desire to alleviate it. It's not just about feeling sorry for someone. It's about connecting deeply with their humanity and offering support without judgment. Compassion is a universal quality, accessible to everyone, regardless of background, culture, or beliefs. When practiced consistently, it has the power to heal wounds, mend broken relationships, and create a more harmonious world. One of the key teachings of Buddhism is that compassion begins with ourselves. Before we can truly care for others, we must first learn to care for ourselves. This might sound counterintuitive. After all, isn't compassion supposed to be outward focused? The truth is, self-compassion is the root from which all other forms of compassion grow. If we're harsh, critical, or neglectful toward ourselves, our capacity to extend genuine compassion to others becomes limited. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same warmth and understanding you'd offer a close friend. It means acknowledging your pain, mistakes, and imperfections without shaming or punishing yourself. Too often, we hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, expecting perfection in every area of life. When we inevitably fall short, we berate ourselves, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy and unworthiness. But self-compassion flips this script. Instead of criticizing yourself for being human, you remind yourself that imperfection is part of the shared human experience. To practice self-compassion, start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. What kinds of thoughts do you direct toward yourself when things go wrong? Are they kind and supportive, or harsh and condemning? If you notice self-critical patterns, pause and reframe them. For example, instead of saying, "I'm such a failure," Try saying, "I made a mistake, but I'm learning and growing." This simple shift softens your internal landscape, creating space for healing and growth. Another powerful way to cultivate self-compassion is through mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. When difficult feelings arise, shame, guilt, fear, you can acknowledge them without letting them define you. You might silently say to yourself, "This is hard right now, but I'm here for myself. I'm doing the best I can." These words may seem small, but they carry immense weight, reminding you that you deserve care and compassion no matter what. Self-compassion also involves setting boundaries. Many people mistakenly believe that being compassionate means always putting others' needs ahead of their own. While generosity and service are important, constantly sacrificing your well-being leads to burnout, resentment, and disconnection. True compassion includes honoring your limits and prioritizing your needs. Saying no to something that drains you doesn't make you selfish, it makes you sustainable. Only when you're grounded in self-care can you show up authentically for others. Now, let's turn to self-love. Self-love is often misunderstood as arrogance or narcissism, but in reality, it's quite the opposite. Self-love is the radical act of accepting and valuing yourself exactly as you are, not because of external achievements or validation, but because you inherently deserve love and respect. It's about recognizing your worth, independent of conditions, and embracing your unique gifts, quirks, and flaws. Practicing self-love requires courage. Society teaches us to seek approval from others, equating our value with productivity, appearance, or success. Breaking free from these narratives takes time and effort, but the rewards are worth it. When you love yourself unconditionally, you become less dependent on external validation. You stop comparing yourself to others and start celebrating your individuality. You trust your instincts, pursue your passions, and set boundaries that protect your energy. One practical way to nurture self-love is through gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on your strengths, accomplishments, and positive qualities. Write them down if it helps. For instance, you might list traits like resilience, creativity, kindness, or humor. Focusing on what's good about you shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, reinforcing your sense of worth. Affirmations are another effective tool for cultivating self-love. Affirmations are positive statements that reinforce empowering beliefs. Repeating phrases like, "I am enough," "I deserve happiness," or "I trust myself" rewires your subconscious mind over time, replacing negative thought patterns with ones that uplift and inspire. While affirmations alone won't solve deep-seated issues, they serve as a powerful reminder of your inherent value. Physical acts of self-care also play a crucial role in fostering self-love. These could include activities like eating nourishing foods, getting enough sleep, exercising regularly, or indulging in hobbies that bring you joy. Taking care of your body and mind sends a message to yourself that you matter. It reinforces the idea that you're worthy of investment and attention. As you deepen your practice of self-love, you'll likely notice improvements in your relationships. When you love and accept yourself, you naturally attract healthier, more supportive connections. You stop seeking validation from others and instead approach relationships from a place of wholeness. This creates a foundation of mutual respect, trust, and authenticity. Compassion and self-love aren't just personal practices, they ripple outward, influencing the world around you. When you embody these qualities, you inspire others to do the same. Your kindness becomes contagious, spreading waves of positivity and connection. Think about it. When someone treats you with compassion, how does it make you feel? Likely, it softens your heart and encourages you to pay it forward. The same principle applies when you lead with compassion and self-love. In addition to benefiting individuals and communities, compassion and self-love have profound implications for society at large. Our world is rife with division, hatred, and inequality, all stemming from a lack of empathy and understanding. When more people practice compassion and self-love, they contribute to a culture of inclusivity, forgiveness, and peace. They challenge systems of oppression and advocate for justice, knowing that everyone deserves dignity and respect. Of course, practicing compassion and self-love isn't always easy. There will be days when old wounds resurface, triggering feelings of shame or unworthiness. On those days, remember that healing is non-linear. Progress isn't measured by never falling back into old patterns, but by continuing to rise after each stumble. Be gentle with yourself during tough times and lean into the tools that support your growth. To integrate compassion and self-love into your daily life, start small. Look for opportunities to extend kindness to yourself and others in ordinary moments. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a few minutes to breathe deeply and remind yourself that you're doing your best. If someone around you seems upset, offer a listening ear or a reassuring word. Each act of compassion, no matter how small, strengthens your capacity for love and connection. Remember, compassion and self-love are lifelong journeys, not destinations. There will be times when doubt creeps in, tempting you to revert to old habits of criticism or comparison. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters most is your willingness to keep showing up, nurturing yourself, and extending compassion to others. Over time, these practices become second nature, transforming how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. In summary, compassion and self-love are essential pillars of emotional and spiritual well-being. They teach us to treat ourselves and others with kindness, empathy, and acceptance. By cultivating these qualities, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and open our hearts to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Compassion and self-love underpin everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to non-attachment to embracing impermanence. Remember, true happiness comes not from external validation, but from loving yourself unconditionally and extending that love to others. Trust in your inherent worth and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 7. Finding Balance Through Simplicity. Simplicity is one of the most profound yet overlooked paths to inner peace and fulfillment. In a world that glorifies busyness, complexity, and excess, simplicity offers a refreshing alternative, a way to strip away the unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. In this chapter, we'll explore the art of living simply, why it's so transformative, and how you can integrate simplicity into your daily life to create balance, clarity, and joy. At its core, simplicity is about reducing distractions and aligning your life with your values. It's not about deprivation or minimalism for its own sake. It's about creating space for what enriches your life while letting go of what drains your energy. This principle applies to every area of life: physical possessions, relationships, commitments, thoughts, and even emotions. By simplifying, you free yourself from overwhelm and cultivate a sense of calm and purpose. One of the most immediate benefits of simplicity is mental clarity. When your environment, schedule, and mind are cluttered, it becomes difficult to focus, make decisions, or feel at ease. Think about how you feel when your home is messy or your to-do list is overflowing. The chaos around you mirrors the chaos within, leaving you scattered and stressed. Simplifying your surroundings, whether by decluttering your space, organizing your belongings, or adopting minimalist habits, creates an external reflection of the inner peace you seek. Decluttering doesn't just mean getting rid of things, it means being intentional about what you keep. Every item in your home should serve a purpose or bring you joy. If something no longer adds value to your life, consider letting it go. This process isn't always easy, especially if you're emotionally attached to certain objects. But remember, holding on to things out of guilt or obligation only weighs you down. Releasing them allows you to reclaim your space and your freedom. Simplicity also extends to your schedule. Many of us overcommit ourselves, juggling multiple responsibilities, hobbies, and social obligations. While staying active and engaged is important, spreading yourself too thin leads to burnout and dissatisfaction. To simplify your calendar, start by identifying your priorities. What activities align with your values? What brings you genuine happiness or fulfillment? Once you have clarity, say no to anything that doesn't resonate deeply with you. Protect your time as fiercely as you would protect your health. It's a finite resource. In addition to physical and temporal simplicity, simplifying your thoughts is equally vital. Our minds are often overrun with noise, worries about the future, regrets about the past, endless to-do lists and comparisons to others. This mental clutter clouds our judgment, increases stress, and prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment. Mindfulness practices such as meditation and breath awareness help quiet the mind and restore balance. By focusing on one thing at a time, you train your brain to let go of distractions and savor the beauty of simplicity. Simplifying your emotional landscape is another powerful way to find balance. So many of us carry unresolved pain, resentment, or fear, allowing these emotions to dictate our behavior and relationships. Emotional simplicity involves acknowledging and releasing what no longer serves you. Journaling, therapy, or heartfelt conversations with trusted loved ones can help you process and heal. As you clear away emotional baggage, you create room for love, gratitude, and joy to flourish. Living simply also has profound implications for sustainability and environmental stewardship. Consumer culture encourages us to buy more, consume more, and waste more, all at great cost to the planet. By embracing simplicity, you reduce your ecological footprint and contribute to a healthier, more sustainable world. For example, choosing quality over quantity, repairing instead of replacing, and supporting ethical brands aligns your lifestyle with principles of care and responsibility. Simplicity isn't just practical, it's also deeply spiritual. Many religious and philosophical traditions emphasize the importance of leading a simple, humble life. In Buddhism, for instance, simplicity is closely tied to non-attachment and contentment. The Buddha taught that craving and clinging to material wealth or sensory pleasures lead to suffering, while living modestly fosters peace and liberation. Similarly, Stoicism advocates for focusing on what's within your control and letting go of superficial concerns. These teachings remind us that true happiness comes not from accumulating more, but from needing less. So, how do you begin practicing simplicity? Start by examining your current lifestyle. Where do you see complexity or excess creeping in? Is your home filled with unused items? Is your schedule packed with obligations that don't excite you? Are your thoughts consumed by worries or regrets? Identifying areas of imbalance is the first step toward creating harmony. Once you've pinpointed opportunities for simplification, take small, consistent actions. For example, spend 15 minutes each day tidying up your living space. Remove one unnecessary commitment from your calendar. Practice single tasking instead of multitasking. Over time, these incremental changes add up, transforming your life in meaningful ways. Another key aspect of simplicity is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, helping you appreciate what you already have rather than chasing after what you lack. When you're grateful for the basics, a roof over your head, food on the table, loved ones in your life, you realize that much of what society promotes as necessary is actually superfluous. Simplicity allows you to live richly without relying on external markers of success. Simplicity also strengthens your relationships. When you simplify your social circle, focusing on a few deep, meaningful connections rather than numerous superficial ones, you nurture bonds that truly matter. Quality trumps quantity every time. Spend time with people who uplift and inspire you and let go of toxic or draining relationships. Surrounding yourself with positivity creates a ripple effect, enhancing your overall well-being. Of course, embracing simplicity requires courage. Letting go of societal expectations, material comforts, or ingrained habits can feel daunting at first. Society equates complexity with sophistication and simplicity with inadequacy, making it challenging to resist the pull of consumerism or busyness. But true strength lies in resisting these pressures and designing a life that reflects your authentic self. To stay motivated, remind yourself of the benefits of simplicity. A simpler life is a calmer, more intentional life, one where you have time and energy to pursue passions, connect with loved ones, and care for yourself. You stop running on autopilot and start living consciously, savoring each moment with presence and appreciation. As you deepen your practice of simplicity, you'll likely encounter resistance from yourself and others. Friends or family might misunderstand your choices, interpreting them as withdrawal or indifference. Stay grounded in your intentions, reminding yourself that simplicity isn't about rejecting life, but embracing it more fully. To integrate simplicity into your daily routine, look for opportunities to streamline and prioritize. For example, adopt a capsule wardrobe to simplify your morning routine. Prepare meals in advance to reduce decision fatigue. Set boundaries with technology, carving out tech-free periods to recharge and reconnect. Each act of simplification reinforces your commitment to balance and clarity. Remember, simplicity is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be times when old habits resurface, tempting you to return to complexity. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters most is your willingness to keep showing up, decluttering, and refocusing. Over time, simplicity becomes second nature, transforming how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. In summary, simplicity is a cornerstone of mindful living and a powerful tool for finding balance and fulfillment. It teaches us to let go of the unnecessary, cherish the present moment, and align our lives with our deepest values. By embracing simplicity, you free yourself from overwhelm and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Simplicity underpins everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to non-attachment to compassion. Remember, true happiness comes not from possessing more but from needing less. Trust in the power of simplicity and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 8. Cultivating Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for transforming your life. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, helping you see the beauty and goodness that already exist within and around you. In this chapter, we'll explore what gratitude truly means, why it matters, and how you can cultivate it in your daily life to enhance your well-being, deepen your relationships, and create a more fulfilling existence. At its essence, gratitude is the practice of recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of your life, big and small. It's about acknowledging the gifts, lessons, and blessings that surround you, even amidst challenges. Gratitude isn't just a fleeting emotion, it's a mindset, a way of seeing the world through a lens of appreciation rather than lack. When practiced consistently, gratitude has the power to rewire your brain, fostering optimism, resilience, and joy. Research shows that cultivating gratitude has profound effects on mental and physical health. People who regularly practice gratitude report lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. They experience improved sleep quality, stronger immune systems, and greater overall happiness. Gratitude also strengthens relationships by fostering empathy, trust, and connection. When you express gratitude toward others, you acknowledge their impact on your life, creating a positive feedback loop of kindness and mutual support. But why does gratitude work? One reason is that it interrupts cycles of negativity and comparison. Our brains are wired to focus on threats and problems, a survival mechanism that helped our ancestors navigate dangerous environments. While this tendency served us well in the past, it often leaves us feeling overwhelmed and dissatisfied in modern life. Gratitude counteracts this negativity bias by training your mind to notice what's going right. Instead of dwelling on what's missing, you celebrate what's present. Another reason gratitude is so transformative is that it fosters contentment. So much of our unhappiness stems from wanting more money, more success, more validation. This relentless pursuit keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving and dissatisfaction. Gratitude reminds us that true fulfillment comes not from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. By focusing on abundance rather than scarcity, we cultivate a sense of sufficiency and peace. So, how do you cultivate gratitude? One of the simplest and most effective ways is through journaling. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental achievements or extraordinary events. They can be as simple as a kind word from a stranger, a delicious meal, or a beautiful sunset. The act of writing them down reinforces their significance and helps you internalize a sense of appreciation. Over time, this practice trains your brain to scan for positivity, making it easier to notice and savor life's blessings. Another powerful technique is expressing gratitude directly to others. Whether through a heartfelt note, a phone call, or a face-to-face conversation, letting someone know how much they mean to you deepens your connection and spreads positivity. For example, you might thank a friend for their unwavering support, a co-worker for their collaboration, or a family member for their love. These expressions of gratitude not only brighten someone else's day, but also amplify your own sense of joy and fulfillment. Gratitude doesn't require grand gestures, it thrives in small, consistent actions. You can incorporate gratitude into everyday moments by pausing to appreciate the little things. For instance, when you wake up in the morning, take a moment to feel grateful for the gift of another day. As you sip your coffee or tea, savor the aroma and warmth. When you step outside, notice the beauty of nature, the rustling leaves, the chirping birds, the vastness of the sky. These micro moments of gratitude accumulate, creating a reservoir of positivity that sustains you through life's ups and downs. Cultivating gratitude also involves reframing challenges. Difficulties are an inevitable part of life, but they often carry hidden lessons or silver linings. When faced with adversity, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How has it made me stronger or wiser? Even in the darkest moments, there's always something to be grateful for. A supportive friend, a glimmer of hope, or simply the fact that you're still here, breathing and alive. By finding gratitude in hardship, you build resilience and open yourself to growth. Gratitude is closely tied to mindfulness. Both practices encourage you to stay present and fully engaged with your experiences. When you're mindful, you notice details you might otherwise overlook. The texture of fabric, the sound of laughter, the taste of food. These observations naturally evoke feelings of gratitude, reminding you of the richness and complexity of life. Conversely, practicing gratitude enhances mindfulness by anchoring your attention in the present moment. Together, these practices create a virtuous cycle of awareness and appreciation. In addition to personal benefits, gratitude has profound implications for society. Our world is rife with division, conflict, and inequality, all stemming from a lack of empathy and understanding. When individuals practice gratitude, they contribute to a culture of generosity, compassion, and unity. They recognize that they're part of something larger than themselves and that their well-being is interconnected with the well-being of others. This perspective inspires acts of service, advocacy, and care, creating a ripple effect of positivity and change. Of course, practicing gratitude isn't always easy. There will be days when life feels heavy and it's hard to find anything to be thankful for. On those days, remember that gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means acknowledging difficulty while still seeking light, even if it's just a flicker. Start small. Be grateful for your breath, your heartbeat, your ability to move forward one step at a time. Over time, these tiny sparks of gratitude grow into a steady flame, illuminating your path. To integrate gratitude into your daily life, start with intention. Set aside specific times each day to reflect on what you're grateful for, perhaps upon waking, during lunch, or before bed. Use reminders such as sticky notes or phone alarms to prompt you to pause and give thanks. Surround yourself with visual cues like photos of loved ones, quotes that inspire appreciation, or objects that hold special meaning. These anchors help keep gratitude top of mind. Gratitude also invites creativity. Think beyond traditional methods and explore new ways to express appreciation. For example, you might create a gratitude jar where you drop notes detailing moments of thankfulness throughout the year. On tough days, you can revisit these notes to remind yourself of life's goodness. Or you could start a gratitude walk using the time to reflect on the people, places, and experiences that enrich your life. Whatever approach you choose, make it personal and meaningful to you. As you deepen your practice of gratitude, you'll likely notice shifts in your mindset and behavior. You'll become more optimistic, noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. You'll feel more connected, recognizing the contributions others make to your life. And you'll develop a greater sense of purpose, knowing that your actions matter and that you're part of a larger tapestry of humanity. Remember, gratitude is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be times when old patterns resurface, tempting you to focus on lack or negativity. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters most is your willingness to keep showing up, noticing, and appreciating. Over time, gratitude becomes second nature, transforming how you relate to yourself, others, and the world. In summary, gratitude is a cornerstone of mindful living and a powerful tool for enhancing your well-being and relationships. It teaches us to see the abundance in our lives, cherish the present moment, and connect with others through acts of kindness and appreciation. By cultivating gratitude, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Gratitude underpins everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to non-attachment to compassion. Remember, true happiness comes not from possessing more, but from appreciating what you already have. Trust in the transformative power of gratitude and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 9. Navigating Challenges with Equanimity. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with challenges, uncertainties, and moments of difficulty. How we respond to these trials defines our experience and shapes our growth. In this chapter, we'll explore the concept of equanimity, a state of calmness, balance, and resilience in the face of adversity, and how cultivating it can help you navigate life's inevitable storms with wisdom and grace. Equanimity, often referred to as upekkha in Buddhism, is one of the highest virtues on the path to liberation. It represents an unwavering steadiness of mind that remains undisturbed by external circumstances, whether pleasant or unpleasant. Unlike indifference or detachment, equanimity is an active practice of maintaining inner peace while fully engaging with life's ups and downs. It's not about avoiding emotions or suppressing reactions. It's about responding skillfully without being swept away by fear, anger, or despair. At its core, equanimity arises from understanding impermanence. Everything in life is transient. Joy, sorrow, success, failure. All are temporary states that come and go like waves in the ocean. When we cling to happiness or resist pain, we create suffering for ourselves. Equanimity teaches us to embrace the ebb and flow of existence, trusting that every challenge carries within it the seeds of transformation. By letting go of resistance, we open ourselves to deeper insights and greater strength. One of the most profound teachings of Buddhism is that suffering, dukkha, stems not from pain itself, but from our reaction to it. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. We all experience loss, illness, disappointment, and heartache at some point. But when we add layers of judgment, resistance, or attachment to these experiences, we amplify their impact. For example, instead of simply feeling sadness over a breakup, we might spiral into self-blame, regret, or bitterness. Equanimity helps us meet pain with acceptance, reducing its weight and allowing healing to begin. So how do we cultivate equanimity? One of the first steps is developing awareness. Mindfulness practices train us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without identifying with them. When a challenging situation arises, pause and notice your initial reaction. Are you tensing up, feeling overwhelmed, reacting impulsively? Simply acknowledging these responses creates space between you and the emotion, giving you the clarity to choose how to proceed. Another key aspect of equanimity is perspective. Often our struggles feel insurmountable because we're too close to them, unable to see the bigger picture. Stepping back even momentarily can provide valuable context. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year, 5 years, 10 years? Shifting your focus from immediate discomfort to long-term growth reminds you that challenges are temporary and that they often lead to unexpected opportunities. Perspective also involves reframing difficulties as teachers. Every obstacle contains lessons that deepen your resilience, empathy, and wisdom. For instance, losing a job might initially feel devastating, but it could inspire you to pursue a passion you'd been neglecting. A failed relationship might leave you heartbroken, but it could teach you important truths about yourself and what you need in a partner. By viewing challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you transform adversity into fuel for personal evolution. Equanimity also requires trust in yourself, in others, and in the natural flow of life. Trusting yourself means believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Even if you don't have all the answers right now, you know you'll find solutions as you move forward. Trusting others means recognizing that everyone is doing the best they can, even if their actions hurt or disappoint you. And trusting life means accepting that uncertainty is part of the human experience. You may not always understand why things happen, but you can trust that they serve a purpose beyond your current comprehension. Practicing equanimity doesn't mean denying your emotions or pretending everything is fine. On the contrary, it encourages you to fully feel your feelings without letting them dictate your behavior. If you're angry, allow yourself to acknowledge the anger without lashing out. If you're grieving, give yourself permission to cry without rushing to fix the pain. Emotions are natural and valid. They only become problematic when we cling to them or act on them impulsively. Equanimity invites you to honor your feelings while maintaining a sense of balance and control. Meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating equanimity. Through meditation, you learn to sit with discomfort, observing it without judgment or resistance. For example, during a seated meditation, you might notice physical tension or racing thoughts. Instead of trying to escape these sensations, you stay present with them, reminding yourself that they will pass. Over time, this practice builds emotional resilience, enabling you to face real-life challenges with the same calm and patience. Loving-kindness meditation. Metta is another effective method for fostering equanimity. By directing compassion toward yourself and others, including those who cause you pain, you soften the edges of resentment and fear. This practice helps you see people and situations more clearly, untainted by bias or reactivity. When you approach life with an open heart, you naturally respond with greater calm and understanding. In addition to formal practices, equanimity can be nurtured through daily habits. Start by setting realistic expectations for yourself and others. Perfectionism and rigid standards set you up for frustration and disappointment. By embracing flexibility and adaptability, you reduce unnecessary stress and increase your capacity to handle setbacks. Another practical strategy is focusing on what you can control versus what you cannot. So much of our anxiety stems from trying to manage outcomes that are outside our influence. Equanimity invites you to direct your energy toward actionable steps, things like communication, preparation, and self-care, while releasing attachment to results. This distinction empowers you to take responsibility without becoming overwhelmed by factors beyond your reach. Gratitude also plays a crucial role in cultivating equanimity. When you focus on what's going well in your life, you create a buffer against negativity and overwhelm. For example, during a difficult period, remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome and the strengths you've developed along the way. This perspective reinforces your confidence and reminds you that even the toughest times eventually give way to brighter days. Equanimity has profound implications for relationships. Conflicts and misunderstandings are inevitable in any close connection, but approaching them with calm and compassion transforms their impact. Instead of reacting defensively or escalating tensions, you listen deeply, speak kindly, and seek resolution with an open mind. This approach not only preserves harmony, but also deepens mutual trust and respect. In broader terms, equanimity contributes to societal well-being. Our world is rife with division, injustice, and environmental crises, all of which demand collective action. While it's natural to feel anger or despair in response to these issues, equanimity ensures that your efforts remain grounded and constructive. By staying centered amidst chaos, you channel your energy into meaningful solutions rather than destructive reactions. Of course, practicing equanimity isn't always easy. There will be moments when old patterns resurface, pulling you back into reactivity or fear. That's okay. Growth is rarely linear. What matters most is your willingness to keep showing up, observing, and adjusting. Each act of patience, each moment of calm in the face of turmoil, strengthens your capacity for equanimity. To integrate equanimity into your daily life, start small. Look for opportunities to practice calmness and balance in ordinary situations. For example, when stuck in traffic, use the delay as a chance to breathe deeply and relax. When faced with criticism, pause before responding, choosing words that reflect thoughtfulness rather than defensiveness. Over time, these micro-practices build momentum, shaping your overall approach to life. Remember, equanimity is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will be times when life feels overwhelming, testing your resolve and resilience. During those moments, lean into the tools and practices that support your growth: mindfulness, meditation, gratitude, and compassion. Surround yourself with reminders of your strength and potential, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to expand your capacity for peace and wisdom. In summary, equanimity is a cornerstone of mindful living and a powerful tool for navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. It teaches us to embrace uncertainty, cherish the present moment, and respond to adversity with clarity and compassion. By cultivating equanimity, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we continue exploring mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. Equanimity underpins everything we've discussed so far, from mindfulness practices to non-attachment to gratitude. Remember, true happiness comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from meeting them with courage and wisdom. Trust in your ability to rise above life's storms and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. Chapter 10: Creating a Personal Practice. Creating a personal practice is the cornerstone of integrating mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist principles into your daily life. It's about designing rituals and routines that support your growth, nurture your well-being, and align with your values. In this chapter, we'll explore how to build a sustainable, meaningful practice that evolves with you over time. Whether you're just starting out or looking to deepen your existing habits, this exploration will provide practical guidance and inspiration to help you craft a practice uniquely suited to your needs. A personal practice isn't one size fits all, it's deeply individual. What works for someone else may not resonate with you, and that's perfectly okay. The key is to experiment, reflect, and refine until you find what feels authentic and fulfilling. A strong practice doesn't have to be elaborate or time-consuming. It simply needs to be consistent and intentional. Over time, these small daily actions compound, creating profound shifts in your mindset, emotions, and overall quality of life. Let's begin by defining what a personal practice entails. At its heart, a personal practice is any activity or habit that connects you to your inner self, fosters mindfulness, and supports your journey toward peace and fulfillment. This could include meditation, journaling, yoga, gratitude exercises, mindful movement, breathwork, or even creative pursuits like painting or gardening. The possibilities are endless. The only requirement is that the practice feels nourishing and aligned with your goals. One of the first steps in creating a personal practice is identifying your intentions. Why do you want to cultivate this habit? Are you seeking greater calm and clarity? Hoping to reduce stress or anxiety? Longing to connect more deeply with yourself or others? Clarifying your why provides motivation and direction, helping you stay committed even when challenges arise. Write down your intentions and revisit them regularly to remind yourself of your purpose. Once you've defined your intentions, consider which practices resonate most with you. Meditation is a classic starting point, offering countless benefits for mental and emotional health. If you're new to meditation, begin with short sessions, 5 to 10 minutes, and gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable. Focus on your breath, a mantra, or bodily sensations, gently bringing your attention back whenever your mind wanders. Remember, meditation isn't about achieving a specific state, it's about showing up consistently and observing your experience without judgment. If meditation feels daunting, don't worry. There are many other ways to cultivate mindfulness. For example, you might incorporate mindful movement into your day through activities like yoga, tai chi, or walking meditation. These practices combine physical awareness with mental focus, grounding you in the present moment while promoting flexibility and strength. Alternatively, you could try mindful journaling using prompts like, "What am I grateful for today?" or "What lessons did I learn from recent challenges?" Writing allows you to process emotions, clarify thoughts, and celebrate progress. Another powerful component of a personal practice is ritual. Rituals add structure and meaning to your routines, transforming ordinary moments into sacred ones. Lighting a candle, brewing tea, or setting an intention before beginning your practice can signal to your mind and body that it's time to slow down and tune in. These small acts of ceremony create a sense of reverence and anticipation, making it easier to transition into a mindful state. Consistency is key to building a successful practice. Rather than aiming for perfection, focus on showing up regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Research shows that habits stick when they're tied to existing routines or triggers. For instance, you might meditate immediately after waking up, journal during your lunch break, or stretch before bed. Anchoring your practice to specific times or events increases the likelihood that you'll follow through. That said, flexibility is equally important. Life is unpredictable, and rigid adherence to a schedule can lead to frustration or burnout. If circumstances prevent you from sticking to your usual routine, adapt without guilt. Perhaps you meditate for 3 minutes instead of 20, or jot down a single gratitude note instead of writing pages. The goal isn't to achieve some idealized version of productivity, but to maintain connection with yourself and your intentions. To sustain your practice long-term, prioritize enjoyment and curiosity. When something feels forced or monotonous, it's easy to lose interest. To keep things fresh, mix up your activities or explore new techniques. For example, if seated meditation becomes stale, try guided meditation, sound baths, or visualization exercises. If journaling feels repetitive, switch to drawing, poetry, or collage. Experimentation keeps your practice dynamic and engaging, preventing stagnation. Accountability can also play a role in maintaining consistency. Share your goals with a friend, join a meditation group, or use apps and journals to track your progress. Knowing that others are supporting or depending on you can boost motivation and commitment. Additionally, celebrating milestones, whether completing 30 days of meditation or noticing improvements in your mood, reinforces positive behavior and encourages continued effort. As your practice deepens, you'll likely notice shifts in your mindset and behavior. You may feel calmer under pressure, more patient with yourself and others, or more attuned to the beauty of everyday moments. These changes occur because your practice rewires your brain, strengthening neural pathways associated with focus, empathy, and resilience. Studies have shown that regular mindfulness and meditation practices increase gray matter in areas related to memory, learning, and emotional regulation, while reducing activity in the amygdala, part of the brain responsible for fear and anxiety. Beyond personal transformation, a strong practice contributes to societal well-being. When individuals cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and equanimity, they radiate these qualities outward, influencing their relationships, communities, and the world at large. Imagine a society where more people approach challenges with calmness, treated others with kindness, and acted with integrity. the ripple effects would be immeasurable, fostering harmony, understanding, and collective healing. Of course, building a personal practice isn't without its obstacles. There will be days when motivation wanes, distractions abound, or self-doubt creeps in. On those days, remember that imperfection is part of the process. Growth isn't linear, and setbacks are opportunities to learn and recalibrate. Be gentle with yourself, trusting that every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goals. To overcome resistance, lean into the tools and resources available to you. Books, podcasts, online courses, and workshops offer valuable insights and inspiration. Guided meditations, music playlists, and ambient sounds can enhance your experience, making it easier to relax and focus. Community support from teachers, peers, or mentors provides encouragement, accountability, and shared wisdom. Finally, remember that your personal practice is a living, evolving entity. As you grow and change, so too will your needs and preferences. Stay open to experimentation, allowing your practice to adapt alongside you. Perhaps you'll discover new modalities that resonate deeply, or perhaps you'll return to familiar favorites with renewed appreciation. Either way, trust that your practice will continue to serve you as long as you approach it with sincerity and dedication. In summary, creating a personal practice is one of the most empowering steps you can take on your journey toward mindfulness, authenticity, and fulfillment. It teaches you to prioritize self-care, embrace impermanence, and respond to life's challenges with wisdom and grace. By cultivating consistency, flexibility, and joy in your practice, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open your heart to infinite possibilities. As we conclude this exploration of mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist philosophy, keep this principle in mind. A personal practice underpins everything we've discussed so far, from embracing impermanence to practicing compassion to navigating adversity with equanimity. Remember, true happiness comes not from external validation, but from nurturing your inner world. Trust in the transformative power of your practice and watch as your spirit expands in ways you never imagined. And so, we arrive at the end of our journey together, a journey of self-discovery, mindfulness, and transformation. Over the past 2 hours, we've explored how Buddhism, meditation, and mindfulness can guide you toward living authentically, embracing impermanence, and finding peace within yourself. These teachings offer not just tools for coping with life's challenges, but pathways to thriving amidst them. Let me leave you with this thought. You already possess everything you need to live a fulfilling, meaningful life. The answers you seek aren't outside of you, they're within. By cultivating awareness, compassion, and gratitude, you unlock the door to your true self. Every breath, every moment of presence, every act of kindness is a step closer to the peace and joy you deserve. Remember, this isn't the end, it's a beginning. Take what resonates with you from today's exploration and weave it into your daily life. Start small if you need to. A single mindful breath, a note of gratitude, or a few moments of stillness can ripple outward, transforming your experience in ways you may not yet imagine. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time and each step forward matters. If you found value in this video, I invite you to return to the Mindful Zone for more reflections, practices, and guidance on your journey. Together, let's continue creating a space where mindfulness thrives, a space that supports not only your well-being, but also the collective healing of our world. Thank you for sharing this time with me. May your path ahead be filled with light, love, and endless possibilities. Until next time, take care. And may you always remember that you are enough exactly as you are. Namaste.